with Anna Picco Schwendener and Adine Gavazzi. They are from two UNESCO chairs. Anna from the UNESCO Chair established at USI, Università della Svizzera italiana, and Adine from the UNESCO Chair established at University of Genoa, or Genova in Italy. We started a great collaboration some months ago about Machu Picchu, and I'm very happy to present such collaboration through this conversation. But first of all, Anna, would you mind introducing what is it about, such a collaboration?
Okay, so welcome also from my side. I have to say that working on this project was a very interesting experience because it was really about transmitting the value, the cultural and natural value of a World Heritage Site through the eyes of a person who has dedicated actually his whole life to the discovery and to the maintenance of this wonderful place. So this person actually, so we talk about Fernando Astete, took many pictures during his activities in Machu Picchu, documenting what he discovered and what this place actually has. So the idea of this project was, so let's try to make his knowledge, his experience available and accessible to a larger public through the use of different communication strategies. So we actually developed 3 different strategies. The first one was to actually scan these images at a very high quality and then load them on a professional photo archive managed by the library of the Accademia dell'Architettura di Mendrisio. And in this way, making his work, his images available, especially to the scientific community for work. These pictures are obviously enriched with a vast range of metadata, mainly about the object, about the image as an object. So these metadata are not as much telling the stories or about the contents of the images, but are about the image as an object itself. And we complemented this first communication strategy with others, but maybe I first give back the word to...
We'll go back to them in a few minutes, but Adine, you have collaborated very extensively with Fernando Astete. Could you tell us who is he?
Yes, I met Fernando Astete when I was a student of architecture. I was 20 years old. It was 1986, and Fernando was working at the Ministry of Culture in the regional offices, and I was immediately struck by the quiet but very profound knowledge he seemed to have on the site. Whenever I would talk with him about Machu Picchu, he seemed to know much more than any normal anthropologist who he is. And sometime later, I found out he was actually the head of Machu Picchu, and that he not just dedicated his entire life, which is true, he also physically inhabited the site alone for many, many years. So here we have an anthropologist who has such a profound gaze on the site because he doesn't just know it at a scientific level, he perceives it at a legitimate heritage because Fernando is actually the heir of the Cusco lineage of the Inca people. So when he is looking at Machu Picchu, he's not exactly seeing what any Western scientist or any Western traveler would see. So in my mind, slowly was rising the question, how can we open up this way of looking at things? How can we give back this very profound and such knowledgeable gaze? And so this is kind of how we met, and this is how Fernando actually met with the UNESCO Chair of Lugano, with a very beautiful conference, and this is how somehow started the idea of exchanging worldviews by a narrative which everybody could understand.
Yeah, thank you, Adine. And in fact, in this project, we demonstrated being very complementary. Adine, she's an architect herself and an anthropologist, while Anna, her background is in communication. So, Anna, you were mentioning the activity of digitizing a huge number of slides and diapositives and making them available under the Creative Commons license online. But then this is not yet communication. So you mentioned another activity which has been done.
Yes, so our second communication strategy was really about, we have to actually tell the people the stories these pictures are telling, because many of the pictures are actually not pictures that you would say, oh, wow, they are so beautiful. Some of them are really beautiful, but their main value is really because they tell the story. They tell something particular about the place where they have been taken. So we decided to create a website where we are going to tell the stories. So we developed different kinds of stories about Machu Picchu. And the goal was really to tell these stories in a very simple and captivating way so that they are accessible also to a public, to non-experts. So while the archive with the high quality scan of the images might address a more scientific public, the website should really be there for everybody in order to bring and to approach them to this wonderful place of Machu Picchu, and then also to favor the knowledge and about the cultural and natural value of the place. And in this way, sort of being able to promote a respectful and sustainable tourism of this place. So creating an overall understanding of the place for everybody. Maybe a very nice thing about this development of the website is that we have collaborated with different students and interns. So the website has been created within the e-government course in this spring, where students have created the basic structure of the web page and a first set of stories. And then interns who collaborated at the project further developed the stories and created new stories, which we actually create based on weekly meetings with Adine, where she's telling us her experience and brings back what Fernando tells her about these images.
Yeah, thank you, Anna. So in those stories, the issue of sustainability is definitely tackled, and this is one of the main goals of the website. So to promote responsible and sustainable tourism. Adine, we know that Machu Picchu has a lot to teach us in terms of sustainability or problems related with sustainability, but at the same time, it can tell us a lot also if we think of the very topic which has been chosen by the World Tourism Organization for the World Tourism Day 2020, which is tourism and rural development. Could you please elaborate on that?
Yes, well, rural development is essential in tourism when we're talking about Machu Picchu, because Machu Picchu is not just the yacta, the monument of Machu Picchu. It is actually 37,000 hectares of land, which is composed by a network of sites, paths, the Inca Trail, many different spots where you cannot just camp, but you can actually access communities. So the way Fernando Astete is looking at Machu Picchu is actually oriented towards the entire park. Why is that so important? not only because it brings back the indigenous rural way of looking at it, but because Machu Picchu has had a very, very heavy issue on environmental impact generated by concentration of tourism, of over-tourism. You know, the yachta was receiving 6,000, sometimes even more tourists each day on a site that was built to maybe receive 1,000, 2,000. Fortunately, the Ministry of Culture has now reduced this number to 2,200, but the objective of this strategy is to communicate the idea that Machu Picchu is not just a monument, it is a whole Inca experience. And the way Fernando is looking at the site and the way he is taking pictures of the site really tells you this story. It really goes towards the direction of rural development.
That's great. So thank you so much, Adine and Anna, for presenting such a great project. I'm happy to invite everybody to visit the website and the archive. You will find all the links below the video. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you, Lorenzo.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.